Okay, so our agenda for today is taking up risk in investment appraisal MCQs. Okay, there are quite a few of those questions. Of course, we'll be looking at expected value calculation. Then we might have, see, it's not as if only these concepts will be tested. Whatever we have studied so far, everything is going to be tested. One thing that you must have noticed in FM as opposed to PM में ना जो भी topics है, it's not necessary that knowledge of one topic is carried forward in the next topic. ऐसा नहीं है. But in FM, the time value of money वाला concept that you have learned, you are carrying forward that concept in all the other chapters also ना. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने बस वो वहां पे देख लिया तो it's done. It is getting carried forward in all the chapters that are there. So, when you are preparing for FM, the basics that you learn, be it time value of money, be it valuation of equity, be it valuation of debt, everything is linked to something else that is going to come up later. जैसे when you do business valuation, you will realize कि यार मेरा स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट जो था वो कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल ही है, बट देयर यू कैलकुलेट द वैल्यू ऑफ वन इक्विटी शेयर, हियर यू कैलकुलेट द वैल्यू ऑफ द एंटायर कंपनी. तो आप क्या करते हो? You take the price per share that you have calculated, you multiply that with the total number of shares, and then you get the total equity value of the company. Same thing goes for you know जैसे आपने फॉर एग्जांपल यू हैव लर्नड द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू. अब एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू भले ही यू मस्ट हैव स्टडीड दैट इन रिस्क इन इन्वेस्टमेंट अप्रेजल, बट ऐसा नहीं है कि यार दैट कॉन्सेप्ट इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी यूज्ड एनीवेयर. सो ऑल द एफएम टॉपिक्स ना आर वेरी क्लोजली लिंक्ड विद ईच अदर, एंड you should make sure that the basics are very strong, because एक्सेप्ट फॉर रिस्क मैनेजमेंट, वो टॉपिक्स या वो कॉन्सेप्ट्स बोलो या वो फॉर्मूलाज बोलो, आप उसको वॉट एवर यू वॉन्ट टू कॉल इट, इट विल इट विल बी सीन एट सम लोकेशन और द अदर. ठीक है, तो वो बहुत नेसेसरी है कि वो सही से करना है. ठीक है, लुक एट दिस वन. During a typical year, DEET company experiences the following power cuts. Number of power cuts per month 0, number of months 3. Number of power cuts per month 1, number of months 2. Number of power cuts 2, number of months 4. And 3 ka 3. Each power cut results in additional cost of $400. For 6,000 per year, DEET can lease a generator which provides electricity during power cuts. What is the expected annual net saving to DEET company if it leases the generator? ऐसे देखो ना तो this looks like a bit of a common sense वाला question भी है. ठीक है. Now one power cut is there in how many months? Zero power cut के 3 months है. One power cut 2 months. ठीक है, एक पावर कट है 2 मंथ्स में. सो हाउ मेनी सच पावर कट्स? 1 into 2, दैट इज 2. ठीक है, देन देर आर 2 पावर कट्स. कितने मंथ्स में है 2 पावर कट्स? आपको 2 मंथ्स नहीं, 4 मंथ्स में है, राइट? सो यू विल डू 2 into 4, दैट इज 8. देन 3 पावर कट्स कितने महीने में है? 3 मंथ्स में है. 3 into 3, दैट इज 9. ठीक है, 2 + 8 10, 10 + 9 19, है ना? टोटल आपका है 19. नाउ व्हाट इज द क्वेश्चन? द क्वेश्चन इज कि आपको पूछा है व्हाट इज द एक्सपेक्टेड एनुअल सेविंग टू डीट कंपनी इफ इट लीजेस द जनरेटर. ठीक है, सो अच्छा, टेल मी कॉस्ट इनकर्ड पर पार कट. एक बार पार कट हो गया तो व्हाट इज द कॉस्ट? 400.
400.
बेसिकली व्हेन 19 power cuts occur in a year, our cost is 19 into 400. 19 fours are 76. 7600. If we buy a generator, ठीक है, then we won't experience power cut. ठीक है, if we buy a generator, we will not experience a power cut. So we will save $7600 है ना. हम 7600 सेव करेंगे. What is the saving earned, sorry, or what is the cost of the generator? $6,000. So when you buy a generator, you spend $6,000, but you save the 7,600 that would have been incurred if there was a power cut. So what is the net saving? Net saving is 7600 minus 6,000, 1600. ठीक है? Are you with me? ये मतलब I wouldn't necessarily call it an investment appraisal का question, but this calculation could be a part of a slightly bigger question, right? जैसे in some question they will say that a company wants to buy a generator, उसका cost is so and so. If you buy a generator, this will be the cost saving. So you will have to calculate that accordingly and then proceed with your answer. ठीक है. So these are ingredients of a bigger question, or these could be a part of a section B question also. We don't know. Let's see. अब नेक्स्ट वाला देखिए. Excalibur company has developed a model to predict sales level for its beachwear based on long range weather forecast. The probability of various temperatures and related sales units are as follows. Unit sales 10,000 when temperature is below 20, probability is 5%. 30,000 temperature range दिया है. So for different sales levels, they have given you temperature range and then they have given you the probability of that particular event occurring. Now they have asked you here what is expected level of sale. So expected value is what? Expected value is basically outcome into probability of outcome, है ना. अब आपका आउटकम है expected level of sales. ठीक है. Unit sold probability 10,000, 30,000, 50,000, 40,000, 25,000. Probability 5%, 25%, 50%, 15%, 5%. ठीक है. ये लिख लिया आपने. नाउ योर एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू. आउटकम इनटू प्रोबेबिलिटी. $40,250. ऑप्शन बी. सिंपल है, नथिंग डिफिकल्ट. जस्ट अ recap ऑफ हाउ टू कैलकुलेट द एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू. कुछ भी डिफिकल्ट नहीं है, बट येस, दिस कैन बी अ पार्ट ऑफ अ बिगर क्वेश्चन एंड विल बी अ पार्ट ऑफ अ बिगर क्वेश्चन. अब ये देखो. A shopkeeper has determined the following probability distribution of weekly demand for one of its most popular products, and they have given you demand probability. He must order each week's sales in advance, and any items left in the inventory at the end of the week are scrapped. The items cost him $2.5 each, and he sells them for $3 each. What is the optimal quantity to be ordered each week? अब अंडरस्टैंड कि यार यहाँ पे एग्जैक्टली exactly पूछा क्या है. ठीक है. नाउ लेट्स प्रिपेयर अ matrix that shows us कि यार demand इतना supply, तो how will that work? Something that we used to do in PM also, है ना. So demand is given to you. He must order each week's sales in advance, and any items left in inventory at the end of the week are scrapped. ठीक है. So in one column you will, so in the columns part you will mention the demand, and in the rows you will mention the quantity. ठीक है. क्वांटिटी सप्लाइड आप वहां पे डालेंगे. ऑप्टिमल क्वांटिटी टू बी ऑर्डर्ड ईच वीक. डिमांड एंड क्वांटिटी ऑर्डर्ड. व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट लेवल्स दैट आर पॉसिबल? 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. ठीक है. एंड when it comes to, see, demand could be something, whereas you might end up ordering a different value altogether. ठीक है. तो you will order based on what you think the demand is. The actual demand might be a completely different number for that matter, है ना. So एक मिनट. Merge and center. Okay, now it looks half decent. So demand is how much does the market want of that particular product. Quantity ordered is based on your estimate, आपने कितना ऑर्डर करके रखा. ठीक है. You order 300 units and the demand is 300. ठीक है. Items cost him 2.5 and he sells them for 3. So क्या होगा. 300 units are ordered and that means 300 units are so, and demand is 300 units. ठीक है. So 300 units बिकेगा at 3 per unit. So 900 minus 300 into what is the cost of each unit ordered, 2.5. So this will be 150. ठीक है. यहाँ पे you remember the payoff table that we used to prepare in PM? It's quite similar to that. अब ये देखो, demand is 400, quantity ordered is 300. ठीक है. If you order 300, you will be able to sell only 300, although demand is 400. 100 customers को you will have to send them home कि नहीं यार मेरे पास तो है ही नहीं. ठीक है. So profit will be 300 into 3 minus 300 into 2.5, which is 150. Throughout this entire row, it's going to be 150 only. ठीक है. Now look at this situation. Demand is 300. आपका quantity ordered is 400. ठीक है. If demand is 300, sales revenue will be 300 into 3, that is 900. Quantity ordered is 400. So cost is 400 into how much? 400 into 2.5, है ना. कितना होगा? टेल मी. 1000. And each unit is scrapped for, and of course whatever is left, that is scrapped. मतलब जो बचा है वो उसका आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते, you have to throw it out. So profit is, you cannot carry it forward to the next working day. -100. यहाँ पे आ जाएगा -100. ठीक है. Ordered 400, demand is also 400. This will be 400 into 3 minus 2.5, 200, right? Can you complete the remaining part of the table? Take 2 minutes and complete the remaining part. हो गया?
Yes, sir. Just 1 minute more.
ओके।
Yes, sir.
ओके, चलो। This is demand is 500, supply is 400. All of these will be 2, supply मतलब ordered is 400. This is exactly PM वाला feeling आ रहा होगा ना इसमें, right? यहाँ पे ordered is 500, demand is 300. You sell 300 at 3, but you ordered 500 at 2.5, minus 350. You sell 400 at 3, but you ordered 500 at 2.5, which is minus 50. ठीक है? Your demand is 500 which you sold at 3 and you ordered 500 at 2.5. ठीक है? Then you ordered 300, so demand is 300, you ordered 600. डिमांड इज 300, तो आपका सेल हुआ 300 इंटू 3, आपका कॉस्ट है 700 इंटू 2.5, माइनस 850। ठीक है? सो जस्ट सी वेदर योर कैलकुलेशंस आर राइट और नॉट। यहाँ पे डिमांड इज 400, सो यू मेड 400 इंटू 3 सेल्स रेवेन्यू, बट यू ऑर्डर्ड 600 इंटू 2.5, माइनस 300। देन डिमांड इज 500, बेचा 3 में, माइनस 600 इंटू 2.5, है ना? देन 600 इंटू 3 माइनस 600 इंटू 2.5, 700 into 3 minus not demand is 700 but you have ordered only 600, so you will be able to sell only 600 units, 300। ठीक है? 400 into 3 minus 700 into 2.5, then 500 into 3 minus 700 into 2.5, then 600 into 3 minus 700 into 2.5, and 700 into 3 minus 700 into 2.5. In PM, we used to call it the payoff table, right? This is the payoff table. Just because you're doing another subject doesn't mean that the name of the thing changes. ठीक है? अब what they have asked you is what is the optimal quantity to be ordered each week? How will you decide the optimal quantity to be ordered each week? Which number gives you the highest expected value? ठीक है? यहाँ पे let's calculate expected value. What is expected value का calculation? Outcome into probability of outcome, correct? अब यहाँ पे आउट probability of demand 300 is 0.2, 400 is 0.3, 1 500 is 0.3, 600 is 0.1, 700 is 0.1. So what you should do is 150 into 0.2 plus 150 into 0.3 plus 150 into again 0.3 plus 150 into, ओके लेट्स डू दिस। यहाँ पे लिखते हैं इसका प्रोबेबिलिटी 0.2, 0.3, 0.3, 0.1, 0.1। ठीक है, कैसे करना है इसको? 150 इंटू आउटकम इंटू प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ आउटकम, आउटकम इंटू प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ आउटकम, प्लस आउटकम इंटू प्रोबेबिलिटी, प्लस आउटकम इंटू प्रोबेबिलिटी। हो गया। एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू 1.6 है ना? जस्ट फ्रीजिंग दिस सेल। You have the expected values. Now tell me, which of the five order levels gives you the highest expected value? 300 units, right? What is the optimal quantity to be ordered each week? 300 units. In PM, we used to have a lot of other games here. Minimax, regret rule, maximax, maximum, correct? वो सब होता था। यहाँ पे they have just asked you expected value. Plus PM में इसमें we also had, value of perfect information, right? वो नहीं है यहाँ पे। This is very simple. ठीक है, so the main challenge here is constructing the payoff table. Once you have constructed the payoff table, see, again, payoff table does not require any specialized knowledge per se. Okay, what it basically requires is that you should have an understanding कि if these many units are ordered and these many units are actually sold, तो मेरा per level profit कितना होगा? And when they say what is the optimal quantity to be ordered each week, what it means is कि in that particular week, optimal means which order level gives you the highest amount of profit. अब how will you calculate that? You can calculate that only using the expected value approach, which is outcome into probability of outcome. तो वो आपने कर लिया and your answer is 300 units. ठीक है? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. अब ये देखो, a company has constructed a model for predicting profits. Operating profit or loss depends on two variables, gross profit and overheads. The following are independent probability distributions of the two variables, gross profit and probability दिया है आपको, ठीक है? What is the probability that the company will make a positive operating profit? अब this is this is that type of question जहां पे आपको पूरा इन डेप्थ you will have to go in. ठीक है, अब understand what all combinations are possible. What is the probability that the company will make a positive operating profit? ठीक है, what is operating profit? Is it gross profit minus overheads? तभी जाके मिलेगा ना आपको operating profit. Operating profit is gross profit minus overheads. Now 12 माइनस 6 करेंगे यू विल गेट प्रॉफिट, 12 माइनस 4 करेंगे यू विल गेट प्रॉफिट, 12 माइनस 3 यू विल गेट प्रॉफिट, 12 माइनस 2 यू विल गेट प्रॉफिट। ठीक है, ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट 12,000, एनी ऑफ दीज ओवरहेड कॉम्बिनेशंस यू विल गेट प्रॉफिट। ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट 6,000, overhead 6,000, your operating profit will be 0. Gross profit 6,000, overheads 4,000, positive profit. Positive profit, positive profit. Then 4 minus 6 minus 2, 4 minus 4 0, 4 minus 3 positive, 4 minus 2 positive. 3 का combination 3 versus 6 minus 3 negative profit, 3 minus 4 minus 1 negative profit, 3 minus 3 0 no profit, 3 minus 2 जब करेंगे only then you will get a positive operating profit. ठीक है, अब देखो, combinations which give positive profit. ठीक है, 12,000, 6,000, 12,000, 4,000, 12,000, 3,000, 12,000, 2,000. Apart from that, 6,4,6,3,6,2. 6, 4, 6, 3, 6, 2. Then 4, 3, 4, 2. And 3,000 versus 2,000. These are all the combinations which will give a positive profit. अब कैसे करेंगे? How will we calculate combined probability? बताइए. Do you agree? अच्छा, इसका probability लिख लेते हैं 0.1, इसका 0.3, 0.3, 0.3 एंड 0.1. ठीक है. 6,000 का probability है 0.4, देन 0.4, देन 0.1. Now what is the situation? Situation ये है कि ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट ऑफ 12,000, ठीक है, एंड ओवरहेड्स ऑफ 6,000, है ना. What is the situation? This and this. Now in probability theory, this situation is known as joint probability. What is joint probability? Probability of this and this happening. And in probability theory, whenever two events are connected with an and, we multiply. Whenever two events are connected with and, we multiply. And whenever two events are connected with or, we add. है ना. So what can happen? Gross profit of 2,000 and overheads of 3,000. ये हो सकता है. Or what can happen? Gross profit of 12,000 and overheads of 3,000. Or gross profit of 12,000 and overheads of 3,000, या फिर ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट ऑफ 12,000 एंड ओवरहेड्स ऑफ 2,000. ये हो सकता है. फिर ये भी हो सकता है कि ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट ऑफ 4 एंड ओवरहेड्स ऑफ 3, ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट ऑफ 6 एंड ओवरहेड्स ऑफ 3, ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट ऑफ 6 एंड ओवरहेड्स ऑफ 2. सो this can happen, or this can happen, or this can happen, or this. Whenever we have an or, we add. या फिर ये or this, or this, or, or, or. You see, all of these events are connected with an or. So, and whenever events are connected with an or, what we do is we take the addition. ठीक है. 0.55. Now, joint probability is what? Joint probability is probability of टू टू और मोर इवेंट्स. एक्चुअली अपने सिलेबस में आएंगे तो दो ही आएंगे, नॉट मोर देन दैट, बट टू और मोर इवेंट्स occurring together. ठीक है. Joint probability is probability of two or more events occurring together. And whenever two events are connected with and, we multiply. When two events are connected with or, we add. यहाँ पे क्या हो सकता है? You can have a profit of 12, overhead of 6. Profit of 12 and overhead of 6. तो इसका और इसका probability आप multiply करेंगे to get the joint probability. But this is event A that can occur, or event B can occur. See, all will not occur at the same time. Only one of these can occur. Or event C can occur, or event D, or E, or F, or G. So what you are doing is you are simply adding the probabilities of all the different events together. ठीक है. These are combinations which give positive profit. उसका joint probability is 0.55. एक बार देख लो. Have a look. देख लो. Once you are
Yes.
done, we'll move to the next one.
Yes, sir. Done.
ठीक है. Anything that you want to ask here?
सर ये 2 नंबर्स के लिए आ सकता है कि किसी के साथ मर्ज होके भी आ सकता है?
मर्ज होके आने का चांस कम है, काफी कम है.
ओके.
Now, joint probability na is given in one of the technical articles, which is why I don't cover it in class. We cover it separately. अब वो पूरा technical article पढ़ने से अच्छा है कि do one question on that and we can understand the concept. ठीक है.
यस सर.
ये देखो. By how many units must the estimate of production and sales volume fall for the project to be regarded as not worthwhile? Adrian is contemplating purchasing for 60,000 a machine which he will use to produce 10,000 discs per year for 5 years. These discs will be sold for 9 each and unit variable costs are expected to be 5. Incremental fixed cost will be 14,000 per year for production cost and 5,000 for selling and admin cost. Adrian has a discount rate of 10% per year. Okay, this is a question on sensitivity. Correct? Sensitivity is NPV divided by PV of post-tax cash flow under consideration. Now, if you remember, see, they are asking you sensitivity with respect to number of units produced, है ना? So this is sensitivity with respect to volume. ठीक है? So whenever it is with respect to volume, relevant cash flow is contribution. Right? Because when volume changes, selling price also changes and the variable cost also changes with that. So first of all, let's calculate the net cash flow per year. 10,000 discs into each sold for 9 sales 90,000. These variable cost is expected to be 5,000 less variable cost. कितना है आपका variable cost? Minus 10,000 into 5. ठीक है. You will have your contribution. Then incremental fixed cost production का 14 and selling and administration का 5 less production fixed cost less selling fixed cost. कितना सब्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे आप? 14,000 minus 5,000. ठीक है. So net cash flow 40 minus 14 minus 5 21,000. 5 साल होगा. So straight away take the annuity factor at the rate of 10% for 5 years. ठीक है. 1 - 1 plus 10% raised to -5 divided by R. R is 10%. ठीक है. So I can make it 3.791. So what is PV of inflow? 21,000 into 3.791 79,611 less पीवी ऑफ आउटफ्लो, कितने का है ये मशीन? 60,000। व्हाट डू यू हैव आफ्टर दिस? You have net present value. 79,611 minus 16,000, 19,611. ठीक है, what is 19,611? It is your net present value. ठीक है, अब एनपीवी डिवाइडेड बाय पीवी ऑफ पोस्ट टैक्स रेलेवेंट कैश फ्लो है ना, कंट्रीब्यूशन 40,000 है, इसका पीवी इज हाउ मच? 151,460. Sensitivity should be this upon this, which is 12.93%. By how much should the production fall so that the project will become not worthwhile? अभी कितना प्रोडक्शन है आपका? 10,000 का प्रोडक्शन है. By how much should it fall? Sensitivity is 12.93. इससे ज्यादा अमाउंट से if it falls down, then the project becomes not worthwhile. 1293 है ना. This is how you apply sensitivity का calculation. Make sense? अब सेंसिटिविटी कैन बी फॉर 2 मार्क्स एज एन इंडिपेंडेंट क्वेश्चन, या फिर यू हैव अ सेक्शन सी का एनपीवी क्वेश्चन, उसमें 2 to 3 मार्क्स का सेपरेट कैलकुलेशन कैन बी ऑन सेंसिटिविटी, वो भी पॉसिबल है. ठीक है, विथ मी?
यस सर।
ओके, नेक्स्ट वाला देखो.
सर
द
एक बार प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन 2 मिनट के लिए दिखा सकते
देखो देखो आराम से देखो, नो हरी. क्वेश्चन देख लो, फिर नीचे का आंसर देखो.
हैं? सर प्लीज क्लोज लो।
ठीक है, चलो,
यस सर।
लेट्स लुक एट अनदर वन. The following information relates to an investment project: present value of sales revenue, present value of variable cost, present value of contribution, PV of fixed cost, PV of operating income, and initial investment. What is the sensitivity of NPV of investment project to a change in fixed cost? How will you calculate this? कैसे निकालेंगे? Whenever you want to calculate sensitivity, the first thing you should calculate is NPV, right? Net present value, which is PV of inflow माइनस पीवी ऑफ आउटफ्लो. कितना होगा? पीवी ऑफ इनफ्लो, सी 50,000 माइनस 25,475, पीवी ऑफ कंट्रीब्यूशन और 24,550, पीवी ऑफ फिक्स कॉस्ट 18,250, पीवी ऑफ ऑपरेटिंग इनकम 6,300. ऑपरेटिंग इनकम इज आफ्टर डिडक्टिंग ऑल द ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंसेस, बिजनेस का मेन एक्टिविटी का इन पीवी इज 6,300 माइनस 5,000. हाउ मच इज दिस? 1,300. ठीक है, इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट है 5,000. नाउ व्हाट इज सेंसिटिविटी विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू चेंज इन फिक्स कॉस्ट? ठीक है, व्हाट इज सेंसिटिविटी? एनपीवी डिवाइडेड बाय पीवी ऑफ रेलेवेंट कैश फ्लो, है ना. तो ये कितना होगा? 1,300 डिवाइडेड बाय पीवी ऑफ पोस्ट टैक्स कैश फ्लो विच इज फिक्स कॉस्ट 18,250. सो 1,300 डिवाइडेड बाय 18,250, 7.12. दे हैव आस्क्ड यू 7.12, तो ठीक है, हो गया, सिंपल. Now, what is expected NPV? An investment project has a cost of 12,000 payable at the start of first year. The possible future cash flows arising from the investment have the following present value and associated probabilities. PV of year 1 cash flow, PV of year 2 cash flow. ईयर 1 में 16,000, 12,000 माइनस 4,000, ईयर 2 में 20,000, 2,000. व्हाट इज एक्सपेक्टेड एनपीवी? ठीक है, कैसे करेंगे इसको बताइए. डज दिस ऑल्सो लुक टू यू लाइक अ केस ऑफ जॉइंट प्रोबेबिलिटी? है ना. सो ईयर 1 प्रोबेबिलिटी, ईयर 2 प्रोबेबिलिटी. ठीक है. 16,000 is possible in year 1, followed by 20,000 in year 2. Total cash flow 16,000 plus 20,000, 36,000. And joint probability, probability in year 1 0.15, probability in year 2 0.75. ठीक है. तो आपका जो जॉइंट प्रोबेबिलिटी होगा, दैट विल बी प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ 16 अकरिंग इन ईयर 1 एंड 20 अकरिंग इन ईयर 2. तो जॉइंट प्रोबेबिलिटी कैसे निकलेगा? 0.15 इंटू 0.75, 0.1125. मेक सेंस टू यू? इज दिस अबाउट राइट?
यस सर।
या फिर व्हाट कैन हैपन? 16,000 कैश फ्लो इन ईयर 1 एंड माइनस 2,000 इन ईयर 2, जिसका प्रोबेबिलिटी है 0.25. ठीक है. या फिर व्हाट कैन हैपन? 12,000 यहां पे अगेन 20,000, 2,000. दिस विल बी 0.6. टोटल जॉइंट प्रोबेबिलिटी दिस मच. ठीक है. अब और क्या हो सकता है? -4,000, 0.25, 0.25, 2,000, 20,000. एंड ये तो यू कैन हैव -4,000 इन ईयर 1 एंड 20,000 इन ईयर 2. ठीक है. सो this is your construction of joint probability. And now you can get your expected value का calculation. कैसे करेंगे expected value का calculation? Outcome into probability of outcome. 23,100. बट ये तो है ही नहीं ऑप्शन में. क्यों नहीं है ऑप्शन में? बिकॉज दिस इज पीवी ऑफ इनफ्लो गाइज. ये पीवी ऑफ इनफ्लो है. देयर इज एन इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑफ 12,000 दैट हैपेंड. सो इसमें से आपको 12,000 माइनस करना पड़ेगा. व्हाट विल यू बी लेफ्ट विथ? यू विल बी लेफ्ट विथ 23,100 माइनस 12,000, दैट इज 11,100. ऑप्शन ए. ठीक है. आर यू विथ मी? वन लास्ट क्वेश्चन.
यस सर।
ये इंटरेस्टिंग है. ये थ्योरी क्वेश्चन है और ऐसे क्वेश्चंस आजकल बहुत आने लगे हैं इन द एग्जाम. Identify by clicking on the relevant boxes whether the following statements are true or false. Discounted payback method takes into account cash flow for all periods. If you remember, any cash flow based method, it takes into account only those cash flows which occur till the payback period. एक बार payback period हो गया, it does not consider cash flows that happen after that. So this is false. Payback period ignores all cash flows after the investment cost has been recovered. True. Then, accounting rate of return rule is to accept investment opportunities when their rates of return are lower than the company's weighted average cost of capital. Rate of return is lower than the weighted average cost of capital. No, na, rate of return has to be more than the weighted average cost of capital. And internal rate of return is the internal rate of return rule is to reject the investment if the weighted average cost of capital is greater than the internal rate of return. is to reject. If WACC is greater than IRR, you reject. This is true. ठीक है? Okay. So, with this, we have covered risk-based मतलब risk का incorporation in investment appraisal. We have covered that situation today. In the previous session, I think EAC, EAB और ये सब हमने cover किया था. So, investment appraisal के MCQs more or less are done. Now, in the next week, I'll be having more sessions because your exam is getting closer now. You still have almost 1 month, so there is no need to panic because the moment I say that exam is very close, everybody will start to panic. तो वो करने का जरूरत नहीं है. But let's have more sessions so that more questions can be practiced. ठीक है. Next week I plan to wind up everything in section A and whatever is possible in section B also. अच्छा, if you look at the recordings, वहां पे बहुत सारा section A भी solved है. Once you start progressing in the recordings, आगे आगे जब आपका सिलेबस खत्म होगा तो उसमें बहुत सारे एमसीक्यूज एग्जाम किट के ऑलरेडी सॉल्व है, बीपीपी के हैं, कैप्लन के हैं, कुछ स्टडी हब के भी हैं. ठीक है. सो नेक्स्ट वीक लेट्स फोकस ऑन